Please be sure to donate to my Patreon to help support the channel. Link in the description down below.
It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more, and this is a review for Ready Player One. So this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by Steven Spielberg, and the screenplay by Zach Penn, Ernest Cline, who actually wrote the book Ready Player One, which this movie is really based on. But loosely based, and it's its own thing. Many people who are the fans of this series, or the book I should say, might be turned off because of that. I actually ended up getting the book off of Loot Crate, but I never got the chance to read it and just sold it off. I can wholeheartedly say this is like the best movie of this year so far. I can wholeheartedly say that after watching this movie. This movie was awesome. I loved practically every moment of this movie. And let me just give a brief background of this movie. In this dystopian future, Earth has pretty much gone into slums, backward cities, and become so overpopulated that people don't want to live in reality anymore because of how shitty it is, and have readily accessible like VR machines where they can become their own thing and live in this like video game world. And this movie is really based on Ty Sheridan, whatever you want to call him. Him and his gang try to find this Easter egg, which will win him this contest in which everyone is trying to fight for in order to control Oasis, or the video game world that they were calling it Oasis, this new virtual world. So what are the things I really enjoyed about this movie? It's a different concept. I wouldn't say this is a video game movie. I consider this a second genre. There's video game movies that are like Warcraft, Tomb Raider, Hitman, solely based on those video game properties. And then you have video game-esque movies that draw inspiration from video game movies or video games themselves, but are its own thing. I know video game movies are trying to do its own thing too, but most of the time they fail, even though they don't really base it on their own material. But video game-esque movies are inspired, but they're our own thing. Like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, that was based off a manga or comic, whatever. And then this one is based off the book, and it's mainly just loosely based on video games. So I call it a video game-esque movie or video game-inspired movie. So it's two different types. So that's how I consider it. And I would say for the most part, the acting is pretty subpar. Ty Sheridan is not really that good of a character. His character falls in love with, what's her name, Olivia Cook's character, and it just becomes so awkward. I think most of the audience members were just like, what the fuck? Because as soon as he meets this girl, after like 15 minutes, he like falls in love with her, and he's just like, I love you. Everybody's like, what the fuck? What? No, that's not how love works. Like, man, I'm pretty bad with women myself, but like, the girl I'm talking to, it took me like 6 months just to, get to that point to say I love her. Him, it was just like 15 minutes, and it was like nothing. Like, you don't even know this girl at all. You haven't even seen her, and you say I love you because of her virtual reality self? It also shows that people who are in virtual reality, in this, made-up world, they're so invested into it, they can't tell what's real and not. So in that sense, they try to go for that, and they actually nail it towards the end. I think that was the message behind this movie, is like, no matter how shitty it becomes, don't try to escape from your, what's going on in life. No matter, enjoy your video games, but don't live in them so much to an extent where you rather live in those than actually live in the real world. So in that sense, I got that message, and I like that message because I'm someone who's kind of an addict when it comes to video games, and you guys know, I always play video games like constantly, so I feel like I want to escape into that world and live in the reality, but that's something we all have to deal with. So I really love that message. I think it really spoke to me as somebody who loves video games, and this movie is all about video games. It's all about the references. Many people are going to say it's nostalgia porn and all this other shit, but it actually works in this movie. It has references from fucking Hello Kitty to Tomb Raider to Terminator. It's got references out the wazoo, man. It's insane. It's got The Shining. It's got freaking anything you can think of. Overwatch, Street Fighter. It's got everything. And I loved it. I had a blast when seeing those references. It got me giddy. But the movie didn't solely rely on those. It built off of those to amplify that experience. I just loved everything I saw on the screen. The visual effects were just like top notch. They were great. And when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of like, I don't like the CGI for this. I think I was just like, I didn't buy into that. But once I watched the movie myself and actually experienced it, and it just got me thinking, just like, this is based on a video game. This is a video game world. It's not meant to be real. And it just got me into it the whole time, from beginning to end. I think the romance part really was like, it was just the dumbest part of the whole movie. I thought the writing for that was just like pretty awful. I don't get why Spielberg didn't, get that, or the writers didn't get that. But it was just like, that was the bad part. And I think some of the references, they got a little too deep in the references, like, oh, this, and that, and like from the 80s and Atari and this, like, it got a little bit too much over time. But I did like the characters that they showed and all the hidden characters and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that aspect. And I did like the story. I really liked the story quite a lot. This society, these people who are just trying to rise up from I.O., this evil company that's trying to take over the Oasis and stuff like that. Though it feels like it's centered in just one city, and it doesn't like the world, and it doesn't feel like it's a global sect. That's how I see it. Like, it's just not like, it just feels like it's just centered in Columbus, Ohio, of all places. I mean, like I said before, man, this is by far my favorite movie of this year so far. The best movie. So, without a doubt in my mind, Ready Player One gets a... I just love my experience with this movie so much that I'm to a point where I'm actually going to see it a second time, and I actually want to see it in IMAX to see all the hidden characters and stuff like that, see it in 3D, and I'm just have my mind blown yet again, because the action was phenomenal, the experience was phenomenal, the effects were great, everything about the movie was fantastic, minus some of the story plot points. But everything else I really enjoyed about the movie, and I really want to see it a second time. So, by far my favorite movie of this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing it a second time in theaters. It's just that good of a movie. If you love video games, you're going to love this movie with a passion. And if you don't, you like the 80s references, 90s references, you're going to love this movie too. If you don't, you're probably going to be lost with the references that are thrown in, but you're still going to have a good time of the action and everything that's going on screen, so you're gonna have a good time on that aspect. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel Django Fett, and don't forget to donate to my Patreon, and I'll see you, my fellow Mandalorian brothers and sisters, next time. Oh, yeah!